Hello and welcome to Flashpoint Campaigns. For those of you that don't know, Flashpoint Campaigns is a military simulator of the Cold War turning hot in 1989, the Soviet Union and NATO going head to head. Now, guys, we are playing as the NATO force in a mission called Brothers to Arms, or Brothers in Arms, I should say. And what we're going to try to do is essentially hold this area over here, Himmelkron, Gostenruth, Lasendorf. There's a few more areas to the north I'm going to show you guys in a moment here, with our allies, the West Germans over here. And essentially, my goal is going to be to get our guys right over here on Himmelkron. We're also going to send our allies over here to Trebgant, and hopefully we're going to be able to stop the enemy from advancing. There is also a Soviet position, or soon to be a Soviet position right there, but initially I think I just want to set my guys up in a decent location and go from there. We are doing deliberate movements here. I'm going to go ahead and commit to some of these locations right off the bat, and we can commence fighting very, very soon. Again, deliberate movements with the tanks. I do want them in positions where they're going to be able to nail enemy vehicles as well. Send that tank right there with the screen, and we're going to send all of this infantry in too. So what I'm trying to do now is really just basically set up a defensive position. Send the infantry in, hold these locations. It's obviously going to be a lot easier to hold urban areas than it would be to hold, just flat areas, for instance. So let's send them forward, and we'll do some screening. I do eventually want to attack that location, guys, but I don't know what kind of resistance I'm going to be facing, so I am going to approach with extreme caution. Let's send that guy right there, and we will do a screen. And I want to send some more north of Himmelkron over here, so let's grab him, and we're going to move north of Himmelkron, kind of the high ground here. Makes him a bit of an easy target is my only concern. Over here as well, move him deliberately, and let's keep this guy on the right side of the highway here. This is assuming, of course, the enemy is going to advance on the highway, which I believe they probably will. They're attacking from the north over here, and they will be coming in south. Now, as for our West German friends, first of all, let me grab this guy, and this is going to be some artillery support. Same with this guy. Sorry, this is our artillery support. And I am going to move him up here on the high ground, the hills above the town, and keep him on call. So if any of our men actually need to use him, they can do that fairly easily. Let's take our West German friends, and we are going to send them over here, guys. And the reason I'm sending them in this area is just in case the enemy decides to try and do a flank attack on us, we'll be prepared. You can see that there are also certain positions that are a bit higher than others. So I want to actually send one of our guys up there, right up there onto the highest peak, overlooking this area. But as for the rest of our men, we are just going to beat a hasty movement right over here to the next defensive location. There we go. And I gotta say, man, these West Germans, you're going to see in this fight, they fight a lot harder than I expected them to. I'm sure a lot of people think, just like the East Germans are Soviet puppets, that the West Germans are Western puppets. And maybe that's even true, but they fight bravely, at least in my experience in Flashpoint. Let's also make sure that we get this guy, the HQ unit. I want to put him right here. I want him on call, not too close to the fighting, although more than likely he's going to be very close to the fighting. We'll see how that works out. And we'll keep another one of our infantry units right there. I really want to make sure we hold that town. It might be a small one, but it's a very easy location to flank from. And actually, we'll keep some of our HQs over here in the woods. The reason is I don't want him being targeted at all. But let's begin the fighting, my friends. As you can see, perfect visibility. We've got a lot of illumination too. Let's see how we do against these Soviets. Now, this is a 6-hour operation. We're doing it in increments of 30 minutes at a time. Look at how quickly they're getting up that highway. That's what I like to see. But we need them in those positions fast, and I mean fast. Almost at the 15-minute mark, and this group is nearly there. This is our American group, and to the west, of course, our West German group. Brothers in arms indeed. Okay, so far so good. We're getting here to the bridge crossing. This is the moment of truth. Dusk has started. Okay, understood. You can see their visibility is going to decrease a little bit. All right, beautiful. Those infantry units are deployed, guys, in Himmelkron. That's what I like to see. They're actually deployed, ready to fight. And I believe the Soviets just took the Northern Passage, and I see some T-55s, what I believe are T-55s, on the way here. So let's take a look here. Just want to make sure this Panzer Grenadier is in the right place. Let's see, this guy's going to be going over here. This guy's going to be going over here. This guy's going over here. In fact, all of our Panzer Grenadiers are. I'm going to keep them there for now. I think it's a bit of a risky location. We maybe could have chose something a little bit better. I'm just going to commit this guy to another deliberate movement. But as for the rest of them, I'm going to let them do their thing, and we are simply going to start the next portion here of the turn. Let's do it. 24 minutes. We can see some Soviet elements advancing ahead of us, guys. To the north of us, I should say. And they have definitely taken that location, but I am not moving. I'm staying put. We do have proper fog of war on, so we can only see units at a distance if we actually spot them, and we can't immediately identify them. So we don't know what's over there on the right side. We know on the left we've got a bunch of enemy tanks moving into location. Definitely want to be prepared for that, but I am not moving for an offensive at all right now. I am staying put. Let's get some anti-tank guided missiles out here. Oh, opening up on our Grenadiers. It's going to be a problem. And we did actually lose one of the Grenadiers. Looks like our tank responded with some fire, and we took out some enemy APCs. I believe the Panzer Grenadiers are going to fire an anti-tank guided missile, too. Okay, not bad. Actually destroyed 4 enemy BMPs there, full of infantry. And I have to say, our Grenadiers held on. What did I tell you guys? ATGM launch. We are nailing those Soviet tanks. I love these anti-tank guided missiles, guys. We knocked out nearly all of them in that group of 10. 7 are knocked out. However, they've got 13 total here. And once again, the rest of our Panzer Grenadiers are destroying those Soviet tanks. Look at that. All within the span of a few minutes, by the way. Now, unfortunately, we did take a hit here. Looks like we're going to lose a few Panzer Grenadiers. But they are continuing to launch anti-tank guided missiles and try and hold this area. The last thing we need is the enemy flanking us and hitting our Americans here. We don't need that. All right, nice. You can actually see some of the destroyed vehicles right there on the road. And 25 BMPs, guys. They have a lot of BMPs attacking here. I might need to push these Panzer Grenadiers closer. We are hitting those tanks with anti-tank guided missiles. But I don't know if we can stop that many BMPs charging our location. We'll have to wait and see. The Soviets are essentially just doing their standard human wave assaults here. There's a few other names for that. And okay, beautiful. Hey, those Panzer Grenadiers did get some action. In fact, we might be able to wipe out an entire squad of tanks. 1 left in that group, and additional tanks approaching from the north there. And there we go. I believe we destroyed that group over there on KU-10. That is fantastic. More tanks advancing over here, guys. Contact. And our men are getting fantastic hits with the anti-tank guided missiles. Only 3 minutes left until the end of this turn phase. But I would say we are doing a damn good job at stopping the enemy so far. Our men have managed to hold out. These tanks right here, I believe they are Abrams tanks, are managing to keep them at bay. Now, there we go. We got those BMPs approaching. We are starting to hit them with anti-tank guided missiles. How many of them can we hit, though? It's a very aggressive attack. Looks like with those tanks out in the open, though, we are obliterating the Soviet armored offensive here. So, again, I think we need to hold on, right? We need to hold on and only push for that 500 when we're absolutely certain that we can take it. I'm going to just try and take out as many of them as possible given our current location here. Wow, beautiful. I thought we were going to take a hit there on our Panzer Grenadiers, or excuse me, not our Panzer Grenadiers, our American infantry, U.S. Army, but we got very lucky there. It went right past us. However, the rest of these guys, they are facing 25 BMPs, 10 tanks. Definitely not something you want to be facing, so I think we have no choice. We kind of have to move this Panzer Grenadier unit. Then again, he was getting shots from up here, anti-tank guided missile shots anyway, so perhaps we just leave him there. I feel like moving anybody right now is going to be extremely dangerous. What about our artillery here? So we could just go ahead and have, do a, select a specific target. I kind of prefer just the on-call ability, so this just kind of allows us to open fire whenever it's called in by the infantry on the ground. But so far, I don't see any sort of reinforcements. I do hope that we're going to be getting some eventually, but for now, I am going to hold this position 47 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're going to hold this position and hope for the best. Now, all of these little red spots denote destroyed enemy vehicles. Again, we've done a damn good job. If you see the little crosses, those are enemy infantry units. So we've done a good job at stopping them here. I really don't know if we can continue to stop them, but here's what I do know. It's 8:47. It's going to get dark soon, and I don't think they're going to be advancing in the darkness. I could be wrong, but I just don't think they are. Now, I am going to go ahead and take one of these units, just a single one, because I know there are a lot of tanks here, and I'm going to commit to a forward movement over here. Considering the situation as it is, I am also going to move with this Panzer Grenadier unit a little bit closer to the enemy, and I'm going to order him to hold that position. Let's get started. Let's see how it goes, guys. Hopefully, it goes okay. 26 minutes of resolution here. That's all our infantry firing anti-tank guided missiles at those tanks. And we're hitting them, guys. Popping them over here like Skittles. I promise I'm not sponsored by Skittles. But look at that, man. 5 now from an original 10. However, some of the enemy's infantry have moved into our group. Into our trenches, let's call them. We lost a couple Panzer Grenadiers right there with that offensive, folks. The enemy tanks continue to advance, but we are knocking them down one after the other. They just got a good shot there and knocked out one of our Bradleys, I believe. All right, guys, first Soviet tank group has been stopped in its tracks, and that second one looks like it's going to follow suit. What I'm most concerned about are the men over here to the west at Weber, Maine, especially with that massive group of enemy infantry. But once again, a solid hit on that tank. The other thing to consider is Weber, Maine is not technically an objective point, but we don't want this road cut off. That is a problem. There we go, another one out. Beautiful, guys. We have taken another one out. What about over here? This is our group of Panzer Grenadiers. They're trying to hold on, guys, but easier said than done, especially with it getting dark out here. Also, I haven't seen any movement from our Panzer Grenadier unit. They are supposed to move, and look at that, another massive group of enemy BMPs on the way. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Initially, I thought we might be able to push over here, and now I'm not even sure we can do that. But there we go, 2 BMPs out. Our tanks are focusing on them. They are trying to do a true Soviet charge here on our position. All right, guys, our Panzer Grenadiers stopped about 7 of them. Unfortunately, we lost 3 Panzer Grenadiers right there, and they overran our Panzer Grenadier unit here. Definitely not our finest hour. Took another Soviet BMP out, I believe. And that is some enemy artillery fire on our tank column, guys. Our tanks do have a very good visual, however, on these BMPs that have gotten behind our lines. Looks like they're armed with anti-tank missiles. That's scary. Nonetheless, we're going to return fire and hopefully eliminate this threat. If we can destroy a whole bunch of the Soviets, they will lose their fighting spirit. It doesn't help, though, that they broke through this initial line. We've got to hold what we have. There we go, guys. Bunch of BMPs taken out there. Looks like we're also launching some anti-tank guided missiles from our Panzer Grenadier units here. Everybody's putting in extra work to wipe out that BMP unit that made it through. And our Panzer Grenadiers did move up. I love to see that. Some more artillery here on our units. That's the Panzer Grenadier units we moved into position. They just hit the tanks. Took one out. Took another BMP out over here. More artillery, and it's all this unit right here. We took out so many of their BMPs, but the ones that are left alive and not panicking in terror are calling in artillery strikes on this position, which, by the way, is an urban location. Watch your fire. There we go, guys. Another hit with our tanks. I like our Panzer Grenadiers in this location, but it looks like we may have just been hit with artillery and lost 4 of those BMPs. Another Soviet down. What about another one down, guys? We are knocking all of these vehicles out left and right. The tanks are doing their job. However, it looks like we lost one of them. One of the Abrams down. That's never good. And there we go. The Soviets have taken the Shlonin position. This is going to be a location we need to retake for sure, guys. Illumination is now 40%. It's getting dark out there. It's getting hard to see anything, really. Have managed to knock out some additional enemy vehicles, thankfully. But we're going to have to do something about this. We're going to have to do some sort of advance. Good shooting, boys. Good shooting. All right, I'm glad the infantry are putting in work. So are the tanks, of course. But they took a pounding this turn. I think these Abrams are in trouble. Additional enemy tank units advancing. This is going to be a hard fight, my friends. I'll tell you that much. If you enjoy these fights, I do want to let you guys know that I'm going to make these episodic. I will stick to these episodes, but I need you guys to make sure that you hit that like button and you drop a comment below. I want to hear your tactics, your approaches, if that's something that interests you. And maybe we'll go ahead and if we end up using your tactics, we will name the actual next video Operation and that tactic. So there we go, proceeding. It is dark out here, man, and we don't have any reinforcements from what I can tell. We are in a tough position. Some of our Panzer Grenadier units over here, the veteran infantry units, are behind enemy lines. We've got a group of 11 enemy tanks approaching here into Trebgast, but we've also got so many destroyed bits of Soviet armor all over the place. We still got plenty of tanks here. I am thinking that we're going to have to hold out wish for the absolute best here, of course. And then we are going to have to push quickly up over here to take this location and, of course, to retake Schlonen. Now, something that's making me believe that that's going to be possible is these are HQ units. That's an enemy HQ unit. Maybe they're not expecting us to get aggressive here. But I want to know what you guys think. What should we do? Should we hold out another 30 minutes, another hour where we are, hold our positions? Or should we go ahead and do an offensive push, maybe a light offensive, just kind of pushing up like one tile with each unit to put a little bit of pressure on the enemy? I'm not sure. 40% visibility, it's a bit hard to see us, but it also means that it's a bit hard for us to see the enemy. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'm almost tempted to just take that Panzer Grenadier and move it right there onto the objective point and go from there to cause some chaos. But without a doubt, they broke through this trench line. We'll call it a trench line. That's not what it is. Right here, and they got behind us. We were able to stop most of them, and I'm confident that we could stop these guys right here, but I wonder if we could stop the onslaught of Soviet infantry and tanks coming down from the north from Hegnabrunn. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you guys will like and comment on the video, and I will make an episode 2. Take care. Catch you on the next one.